Hi, and welcome back to the Eastern Volleyball Network. My name is Kevin Knight, and I'll be filling in for the normal host, Graham Wren, today to do a recap of TVA Beach Mayhem event that occurred yesterday. I can only promise you that I will not be as comprehensive as Graham is, because that is physically impossible. But I will briefly go through the finishes, some highlights, and some lowlights. So I guess just to kick it off, Nick Drucker and Brett Rosenmeyer remain the undefeated kings of Virginia Beach, and they beat myself and Dave Arnold in the finals. So they were first, we were second. My guys Josh Lanier and Brian Conacher, I think, surprised a lot of people with third place finish, along with Devin Decker and his partner Kevin McCandless. They both took thirds, and I don't think anybody really had either of those teams taking thirds. In fifth place, Brian Conacher and Josh Lanier took down Pyle, largely due to some cramping issues, but also Brian and Josh played a pretty good set themselves. And for the other third place match, surprisingly, Devin Decker and his guy Kevin were able to take down Luke and Matt, Luke Parks and Matt McLaren, in 3 tough sets. Matt McLaren mentioned that it was largely due to him essentially tiring out, and the other two that they were playing against just were able to outlast him. It was very hot, very humid, tough day to play. In the 7th place, we ended up with, I believe it was Joey Gordon, and I think it was, and his guy, and then Tommy Spielman and Zach Martin, the Liberty guys. And they actually ended up mentioning that it was a lot of fun, but you know, it's tough when you're not used to playing on an ocean front and you're not able to jump as high, and your ball control has to be a lot cleaner. I got to see them play a little bit, and they looked pretty good again in flashes, but just weren't able to hold it all together for their match. Good on Pyle making a 5th, by the way. I think that's who took him down. And then in 9th was pretty much everybody else. 12-team event, a lot of fun. Thank you for TVA for putting it on. It was a ton of fun for me to get out there and see everybody. I've had a long off season, and was really happy to get out to Virginia Beach again. So for me, I mean, I'm biased, so I'm going to go through my biggest highlight was watching Josh Lanier and Brian Conacher, who were expected to go 0-2 in our preliminary video, due entirely to Graham Wren and nothing to do with myself, which obviously isn't true. I had some input there too. But they were expected to go 0-2, and not only did they start the day 2-0 over Evgeny and his partner, but they also took down Joey Gordon and Cortland Scherenborg, which I think was very unexpected. Both of those guys are known for taking down teams early in tournaments. Cortland and Joey are, and for Brian and Josh to get past them, it was a big win for them. So I ended up running into Dave and I in the game to get into the semis, and they pushed us. I think it was 17-21 and 19-21. And we were a little too much for them. And then they dropped down to the 5th place game, and they grinded out a tough win over Pyle. They were battling Pyle, and both teams were battling the elements. Came out on top in that one, and then Nick and Brett just proved too clean for Josh and Brian, but phenomenal 3rd place finish there. Devin Decker, I think, came out, and a lot of people were just like, who is this guy? Where does he come from? What is he doing? He played his ball down in Florida, and now he's up in Maryland, kind of with Dave Arnold and Cam Beans and them. And he is just an absolute physical beast. He's got all the ball skills that he needs, and he's only going to go up from here. He and Kevin McCandless took a 3rd place finish over the always tough Luke and Matt, but and we took him down in our first match of the day. But I think the scores were like 20-22, and then the second set was like 19-21. They're a really tough team. So very excited to see who Devin picks up in the future, and see him upset some teams this year. So that was another cool thing to see. Both 3rd place finishes were awesome for those individuals. I think the young kids, Liam and Che, unfortunately ended up going 0-2, which is what Graham called, so props to Graham on that one. But they definitely battled in their matches with some really tough draws, I think, and love seeing them out there. It's only a matter of time before they start picking up open wins. Let me think if there's anything else before I get into kind of finals. So Graham ended up picking correctly for the finals and incorrectly in almost every other match aside from Dave and I, and then Nick Drucker and Brett Rosenmeyer going straight there. Brett and Nick handled business all day long. Dave was a stud with me running it back for old time's sake. It was a ton of fun. Both teams made it to the finals, I think, without dropping a set. And when we got to the finals, our strategy was to go after Brett and see if we could kind of break him down and get some blocks on him. And to his credit, he was just more steady. The other team played a better game than we did. The first set, they really got us. I think it was only 15-20 or 21 or 16-21, something like that. Second game was way tighter. They were up 18-15, and then I think I got an ace and then maybe a couple blocks or something. Brought it back to 19-19. They had a nice side out, and then the last point I left Dave up there a little bit too tight on a bump set, and Brett took care of the joust, and that was the match. So credit to them, hats off to them. Played a great event and proved why they're undefeated this year. Would love to play that team again. Props to Dave. Apparently he hasn't played in like two or 3 weeks, but I can just walk out on the court and he's got amazing, immaculate ball control. Was making digs all day long, left and right, and somehow his cardio held up. He got most of the balls and had no issue with it. Also, shout out to Dave's dad, Arnie. Arnie came out and supported us in the tent with bananas and grapes and Gatorades and all kinds of different things. And then I also just wanted to say shout out to the Virginia Beach community. You guys are awesome. Really enjoyed interacting with you all day long. They gave big support to Nick and Brett, and there was also a group of them that were giving me a whole lot of support as well. May have been just because of the cookies. Particularly a good batch this time, if I will say so myself. But I guess with that, I'll wind it down. Brett and Nick played an amazing tournament. They, to be honest, I think were the better team that day. And I'm excited to see that team run it back. I think they're running it back for big money in June. So I hope to be back out there. And I guess that's going to be my wrap-up video. If you like what we're doing, please please subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, and we're gonna keep doing what we do. And I think we got another prediction video coming up in the next few weeks here, so stay tuned.